Okay, Stepan, we are live right now. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another live BIM coordination webinar. We are starting in just a few minutes. This time we are going to dive into artificial intelligence topic. Excited, isn't it, Stepan?
Yeah, it's very exciting, and I feel like that's like the good news that we all needed in the AEC. But we're gonna talk a lot more about it today. So yeah.
Sure. Before we start, as a tradition, just let us know in the comments if you can hear us well, if you can see us well. I see a lot of people out there, like over 200, so it's great. Stepan, today with me is Stepan Mikulic. I hope I pronounce it correctly, Stepan? Yes?
Yeah, that's fine, and that's fine.
That's
And for
fine.
anybody who can't pronounce, I'm sorry, Ignacy, but for anybody
Okay.
who can't pronounce any version of Stefan is fine. So that's completely fine.
That's cool. So I see that you can hear me well and see me well. So I think that everything works. Audio is good. So that's fine. Audio is good. Everything is good. There are no technical problems. We can hear you well, see you well. That's perfect. Let me, guys, open one more thing here. Okay. I will just change the
Let me also,
screen.
yeah. Okay, we have people from all over the how do you say the world, and
All
this is so
over the
exciting.
world.
Like
All
this
over
is
the
so
world.
fun.
Pakistan,
Yeah,
Italy, Serbia. Nice, nice, very nice. So,
amazing, amazing.
and I see that over 200 people are already at the chat. So this is kind of the crowd. Actually, more than 2,000 people registered to this event. And actually, I was just wondering if this is because we are so handsome and cool, Stepan, or I think, or maybe this is purely because there is a huge potential, huge interest in AC industry. I don't know. I hope that both.
I know
But
what my
what
what
do
my
you think?
I know what my parents and my grandma would say. They would say the first thing, you're the most beautiful kid ever, you know. But I
Sure,
know that
sure,
a
sure.
lot of people are here for the knowledge, and we're gonna get to that. So no worries.
Good, good, perfect. Germany, UK, great. So let's jump in. Before we start our discussion, Stepan, I was just curious. I want to ask our lovely audience if they have some kind of an experience with AI in AEC. I know that this is quite fresh. This is a quite fresh topic. Let's call it so. Some of the people are already experienced using some different tools, AI workflows. But leave a comment if you are fresh in this area or you know some kind of tools you use AI on a daily basis. Just let us know in the comments. No experience. AI was used for Python scripting. That's great.
Nice.
Minimal experience, most use of a PyRevit, Navigate, D-Roots. Okay. Are we going to talk about those applications as well, Stepan?
Not too much. We're gonna talk about some Revit applications, but not about
Uh-huh.
those specifically,
Okay.
because I do feel like they do have like a presence out there. I want to focus on some tools that people might have not heard about, but they're
Mhm.
just as good or even better. And nothing against those tools. I also used a lot of these myself, so don't worry.
Cool, cool. I see that most of people don't have any experience or some kind of a mid-journey ChatGPT experience. So I think that this presentation will be for them. Cool.
Yes.
So there is 2 p.m. Central European time. So let's start the presentation just before we are going live. A small request for our lovely audience. This event is broadcast on 3 different platforms: YouTube, LinkedIn, and on Facebook. So I would appreciate if you please leave a comment there, some thumbs ups, likes, heart reactions, anything that could, give us a positive feedback. This event is free. Me and Stepan, we are doing it totally for free. Share our knowledge. So for sure, positive reactions will help us reach bigger audience. And thanks so much for it in advance. So let's start with our agenda for today. My name is Ignacy. I will be your host today. With me is Stepan, experienced BIM manager and AI specialist from Denmark. Today, we are going to focus on artificial intelligence for BIM professionals, especially. And I think there is quite a lot to cover. So let's look. So first of all, Stepan are going to present the main presentation about we're going deep into the AI topic. It will last for about 40 minutes. After that, there will be a 15 to 20 minutes Q&A session. Of course, it depends on how many questions we are going to get from the audience. What next? Then also remember that all people who registered to the webinar will receive a gift that Stepan created for us. So special gift. He created a mind map divided into 5 different categories, but he is going to reveal what kind of gift is it, I think, at the end of the presentation. And remember that the recording will be available for all registered participants. If you haven't registered, go to becomebimcoordinator.com/webinar and register there your mail. So you will receive tomorrow an email with the gift and also a recorded session. So I think that's all from about our today's agenda. So for those who don't know me, I will just present myself, Ignacy Łoziński. I'm an experienced BIM coordinator manager who is working on Norwegian construction market. I'm also author of Become BIM Coordinator online training, which teaches AC professionals BIM coordination in depth. So right now, over 300 people enrolled to the first 2 editions of this course, and we are going to release the 3rd edition very soon in March. If you are interested, please visit becomebimcoordinator.com to learn more about this comprehensive training. I also a creator of BIM Corner blog. Maybe some of you know this resource. Over 200 articles are out there. They are touching various topics related to BIM, so feel free to check the resource. I'm also a BIM coordinator for Multiconsult, a Norwegian, one of the biggest Norwegian companies, and I'm working on Fornebubanen project, which is Oslo Metro project. Feel free to add me on LinkedIn. I like to connecting with like-minded people. So just go Google Ignacy Łoziński and check what I'm posting on LinkedIn. So enough about me. I think, Stepan, let's. I think that the stage will be yours right now. Let's begin.
Amazing. Thank you so much. First of all, thank you, Ignacy, so much for inviting me.
Sure,
and thank you to all of you. Yes, of course. I mean, I also want to say everything both that you and the BIM Coordinator guys are doing, I think it's amazing. I think it's more of this is necessary in our world, in our industry. And this is what I'm also gonna I want to pinpoint is that I think that we need more people who are oriented for technology, oriented for good solutions, for great solutions, and trying to change it in a good way. So that's one thing. Second thing, I also want to thank everybody from all around the world for joining. I'm so excited to be presenting here and to be chosen to present this. It is a wide topic, and you all have a different, let's say, skill level at this moment. So with my presentation, I did aim to kind of cover it broadly, but not too broadly, not too in depth, but still give you some really good insights. And if you're gonna want to learn more, please stick to the end, because as Ignacy said, I do have a gift for everybody, but I also have some news for those who want to learn more and want to increase their skills even more. And with that, let me just see here to get started. Yes. So
let's check if it's working.
Yes, perfect, amazing. So first things first, my name is Stepan. I said earlier, anybody can call me any version of Stefan. That's completely fine. And I was born and raised in Croatia. And this island that you see on the left side, I know we're going to talk about AI, but this wasn't AI generated. This is a real kind of Mother Nature island that we have there. It's called Galeshnjak, or the Love Island, or the Heart Island. But for the last 9 years, and especially my professional experience, I've been living in Denmark, which is also a very beautiful and very kind of developed country, especially in terms of architecture, engineering, and construction. So yes, this is like just a bit of a personal background, but my professional background, actually, what many of you might actually know me for, I was working at an engineering company, it's called Sweco, where I was working with structures, modeling of structures, modeling of MEP elements. So I kind of went all through it. And then for the last 2 years, I was at BIG. And this is like a picture after a year. And it was as amazing as this picture actually shows in the middle. So it was a really good experience. And then for the last, I guess it's 3 weeks now, I've been my own I have my own company called AI and AC. And the reasons why I started it, I'm going to come to a second. Yes. So first of all, just to shortly introduce what we're going to discuss today, so you know the structure, we're going to go through some fundamentals. I'm going to talk about the why of AI, why do we need it, why it's important, some modern history, and of course, we're going to look at the ACI Hub in a second, for those of you who don't know what it is. And then we're going to look at some best in class. This was actually, it's very hard to choose from so many solutions out there, but I did do my best to really focus on some of the key tools that you as BIM coordinators, BIM managers, and just overall interested in BIM and in AI could use.
Yeah,
and
because
then lastly,
apologize, because from my perspective as a BIM coordinator, when I check different AI tools, when I scroll through, the wall of the of my LinkedIn, and I see, people are posting, I use this, and how I actually can choose anything from this AI noise. So it's great to have such classes that it will solidify what's it's useful, what it's maybe not useful. Thanks, Stepan.
Yeah, of course. And actually, let me just mention then one thing here. This isn't a comprehensive overview, this presentation. I do have a comprehensive in the hub, but I want to say that regardless of which app you choose, I do believe that everybody needs to do their own research, because it's hard for me to see a future in the AC where there's going to be like a single winner app that does it all.
Yeah.
These apps that I see, there's so many, and they're maybe for different geographies, different locations, and of course, different use cases. So I'm going to be like, try to focus on some really cool stuff, but it's not comprehensive. So don't take it as such.
Got it.
Then the third thing, is of course, I said AI in real life. Like this is a bit more about implementation and being realistic and what can be done with it. And of course, I'm going to talk about LLMs for BIM. So to get started, like again, this presentation, I wanted to start with this quote from my lecturer at UCN in Denmark, because he said that knowing where to find information can often be more important than knowing information. And this is just to say that you watching this presentation might forget about around 80% of things by the end of like next month, or maybe even next week. But knowing where to find information is going to be crucial. So I'm going to focus on giving you that kind of that skill in this webinar. Yes, and of course, like I said, that I started my own company, and the company, at least my vision and my mission for the AEC, I want to empower every single one of you and every single interested AEC company and AEC professional to learn, implement, and develop AI and cutting-edge technology. Because I truly believe that AI can really make us into superheroes. And I really, my overall arching mission, and that's why I'm doing this, as Ignacy said, for free as well, is really to make a superhero out of every interested person, because I do believe that we need more of this in our industry. So to move on, why I believe this, because as like some of you might know, our industry, so the built environment, is responsible for 39% of all global carbon emissions. Now, this is a huge margin, and it's like I feel that we sometimes keep doing the same thing all over again, but in different places we keep solving the same issues. And this is what I want to change with spreading knowledge, teaching people, implementing stuff across the industry. And then I'm gonna quote, or kind of, I took this from, I think he's online, BIM Pure, our dear friend Nicholas. He actually mentioned. Yeah. So
I
exactly.
can see that. Hi, Nicholas. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, and congrats on launching your new course. Go check it out for those of you who might not be aware. But I want to say that what he mentioned in his presentation, that we, like, in order to house the global population, we need to produce a New York-sized city every 34 days. And like this is like doubling up the current building stock we have. And this is like a lot more buildings. And we like, and on one hand, on the other hand, we need to save so much resources and not emit so much CO2. And now you might be wondering, like, how do we do this? How is this going to be possible? So there's also research showing that to do this, we're going to need either one of these two things. We're going to need to 10x the AEC workforce that we currently have. So the number of architects, engineers, BIM coordinators, everybody involved will need to 10x, or we're going to need to 10x the production speed. Now think about it logically. What is more likely to happen?
Yeah, for sure. The second.
Exactly. I mean, I'm not saying that we're not gonna like 10x the workforce. We might, but I am saying that it's more likely that the second part is gonna happen. So you might be wondering, okay, I get it. The world is like we need to act now, but what do I do about it, and how do I approach it? And then the story starts with AI, of course, and the story starts here with ChatGPT. So ChatGPT was launched in November 2022, so around a year and a half ago, and it took the app only like 2 months to reach 100 million users. Until Threads last year, it was the fastest growing app by the user count ever. Yes. And I believe that the reason for why it was so fast to grow was that it was incredibly fast and useful. We could use it for a myriad of things, but also it was very easy to install and implement. Everybody with a network, as you're having it now, like with the internet connection, could just join in, hop on the app, and start testing it and start like working with it. And especially, like, I think that the third thing is also important to mention, and this is that no new hardware is necessary. Again, for most of us, we're still using our laptops, we're still using our computers, everything that we have been using, and we don't need to install anything new. So I think that's why. Again, I said for most, because we do have and some people might kind of comment on it later, but we do have also all these big servers running all these GPUs and CPUs to produce this AI data. But what
that's true. You just need to have a Chrome browser and that's it, or a Safari. So yeah, totally agree with it.
Exactly. So what I wanted to say is that I also read some research that's very interesting for ChatGPT specifically, and that is that most people, this was like after 2 months it had 100 million users. Now we're like a year later. So how many people there are? They have over 1 billion visits, I think, a month on their website. But what I want to say is that I do believe that most people are not experiencing the full power of ChatGPT. And this is something that I want to address, and I'm going to come to that, as I said, in the end of the presentation. But what I want to say is that many of us have tested it and maybe not have seen the full power, but we're going to get to that. Before we get to that part specifically, I want to switch back a bit to the visual and kind of text to image generation that many of us architects and visual people in the industry really liked, because at the same time or similar time as the ChatGPT advent and start of these AI large language models, we saw a rise in kind of these realistic image creations. And then we could see that we could use it for architecture, we could use it for inspiration, we could get a bunch of ideas. And these are just some of the ideas that I put into Midjourney to see how it's going to work. And then I guess that everybody knows what prompting is. This is like the way you put in your text to get the wanted result out of it. And then this happened. Pope started wearing a Balenciaga puffer jacket.
Yeah.
I mean, or at least we thought so, because it did turn in the end that these were AI generated images. And I mean, when you look a bit more closely, I don't know if people can see my mouse, but here in the bottom, you can see that the fingers are not super clear. So when you look more closely, but it's just to say the power of AI and how it we don't even think what is AI generated text or what is AI generated image. But the best thing about why and the reason why I'm mentioning the Pope is because how it got produced. As you can read here, a construction worker from Chicago created the images while being high on mushrooms. Now, this is imagine this power, man. You're he was just actually, you can see here that I have another one. like he was creating all sorts of like images of, he chose the Pope. But the thing is that it was so interesting because like
But
he's not.
is it a real thing that the construction worker from Chicago created it?
Yes, it's a real thing,
A
and
real
he
deal.
even like,
Okay.
yes, it's a real thing, and he even hid his last name because he feared the like a potential lashback. I am mentioning here, it's nothing against the Pope or religion whatsoever. It's just to show the power that we could create this, and this was in March last year, so it's already been a year since this one. And actually, the interesting thing is also that he used it to kind of to cope with his brother's passing away. He used Midjourney to kind of create images and to express himself creatively. So that's also very interesting. So why I want to mention the Pope and this was because we started thinking then, okay, is AI actually good or bad? Like, what kind of power does it have? And to answer that question, I want to go back to the internet, because when the internet came out, we also were thinking, is the internet good or bad? And my answer to that question is yes. It's yes, it can be both. Again, it depends how you use it. So I would say the same thing we can say about AI or artificial intelligence, that it depends how you use it. So I just want to say, before we dive into all the tools, for anybody who's going to be using it, just beware what you're using it for and what the results are. Just have this in the back of my mind. I think we all want to be good people and should do good with the tools we are provided with. So again, to go back a bit to the last year, as I guess as many of you here, I was working. I was a big I had my daily job, but like, and even though these things were happening out in the wide world, I was thinking, okay, I don't know much about the wide world, but I do know some things about AEC, so architecture, engineering, and construction. And then I was also very curious, like, can we actually use any of these tools for the AEC? And then the third thing is, again to share the experience. I saw so much on LinkedIn, I saw so much on YouTube, just the internet articles and so on. And I started making a list of all potential tools. My browser was like being bombarded with all these bookmarks. And then I decided to create a kind of a list, and I made it in Notion. And this list is called the AEC AI Hub. Today, the AEC AI Hub, as you can see here, features more than 750 tools. So this is 750 AI tools and resources. And if you're going to allow me, let me just actually switch to Notion in a second so people can see it. Yes, you can see it, right? So
Yeah.
We have over 750 tools on this hub. And yes, I shared it all for free on LinkedIn. And I'm going to share the QR code of how to get to it in a second. But I just want to explain it first so everybody knows how to use it. So first thing you can see here, it's a long list. There's so much. So I tried my best
are those
with
applications only
specifying what is AI driven.
Apologize. We have a little bit of lagging, but those applications are only used for AEC, or those are like all AI applications out there?
Those are not all AI applications out there. Not nearly. There's thousands and thousands. These are the apps that came across my, you can say, screen. And then I was like, I like to think critically about things I see. And I was thinking, how can this be used, and can it be useful to anybody in our industry? And then if it's a yes, I put it to the list.
Gotcha.
Okay. So I would say that right now, for the AEC, this is the most comprehensive list. I would like to be. I mean, I haven't seen something similar to this because again, it's free. Anybody can use it, and the way you can use it for, as I said, you can use it through kind of selecting if it's AI driven or not. And the reason why I have these tools that are not AI driven is because I still believe they're very useful. They just maybe like are not getting on the hype train that AI like in a part has. Second thing is the champion. So if I really like, after researching thousands and thousands of these tools to get to 750, I saw that we have some like really good ones, and then maybe some not as good. And I like just wanted my honest opinion to share with people, to put is if it's a champion or not in its own niche. Okay.
Gotcha.
And this is I put the BIM filter. So I just want to show here one thing. Yes, the link you're gonna get is gonna take you to the website. But if you want to open it in Notion, where you can search, under introduction, you can just click on this link, and it's going to take you directly to Notion.
Okay.
Yes. Now let me go back
But
to the presentation.
is it filtered, for example, by categories or by use cases?
Yes, it's filtered by categories, and I'm going to come to categories in a second. I just want people who are everybody who's interested to scan this QR code. We unfortunately, because of GDPR rules, can't use your emails that you used for signing up for this webinar to deliver this to you, unfortunately. So you need to sign up yourself. And yes, for those of you who might not have a QR code scanner or a phone, you can just go to ainac.com. And then you just fill, very simple. You put your name and you put your email, and you're going to be taken to the Notions or to the site that hosts the Notion page. And yes, and if you don't have time to scan this now, I'm going to come back to it later, so don't worry. Yes, to move on. What I wanted to say, this was actually a really good question, Ignacy. If it's kind of separated, like most people would see, like,
I'm a BIM coordinator
750
or
tools. How?
For example, I see that we have a little bit of laggings, but we'll try to fix it. So, for example, I'm a BIM coordinator. How I'm going to use, like, how I can find a useful tool for me? I'm using Solibri, Navisworks, different, different tools for checking the model, for managing model. I'm use Revit. How could I, for example, use this AI hub just to find the right tool for me? To test, I don't have time to test 700 different tools. You already have done the job, we can say so. So how, for example, I could use such resource to find, let's say I'm modeling something in Revit, I'm an architect. How could I find something, a right tool to help me model something in Revit? Let's take it as an example.
That's a good example. What I would do, the easiest thing is actually to search, open the Notion page and search for Revit in this case. And then anything that has Revit connected here is going to pop up. So the description, if a description features a Revit kind of name, is going to pop up. And that's already a big help.
Okay, gotcha.
So, of course, it's hard, like what I am doing. Yes. And Ignacy, I can also say here, what I'm kind of working with my company and trying to do is that I know that people don't need 750 tools to solve their problems. People need one tool that actually is focused and specific for their use case. I know this. So what I'm trying to do is that I have all of this knowledge in my head, and I'm trying to put it in a product that people will be able to sign up for. It's going to be a course. I'm going to come to it in a second. But for those who even have more specific things or just want to level up their AI strategy, I also do consultancies for those companies. So if people are going to need like more specific help, feel free to write me, and I'm going to try to answer as fast as I can to your question. But yes, it's a free resource for anybody to dive in, and I do think people can really enjoy going through all of these. I do know that I really enjoyed like jumping into all of these tools. Now to come back to the PowerPoint. So what I also identified is that if any of you are afraid of I might lose my job and so on, I would say don't worry yet. Don't worry for now, because it's like a hard way to group this. But I did see like 60% of these tools to be assistant tools. So you already have your work, and they're just going to assist you to be more productive, to increase your quality and so on. Then we have 35% that are integrators. And these integrators are tools that are like working with your existing ones. And then we have 5% that are master builders. And those are tools that are covering like a large portion of somebody's job or somebody's work. But there are only a few percentage points. There's only a few companies that are actually going after the whole thing. So we're not there yet. Yes, and now to get to maybe the fun part of this presentation, even though I do hope you're getting value from all of this, is that I want to unlock the power of BIM. I know we're saying unlock the power of AI, but I want to take it kind of turn it around and say unlock the power of BIM with AI apps. And again, it's a very limited showcase. So if there's any vendor or like people producing stuff, I just needed to draw the line somewhere. This doesn't mean that their tool is not good, or wouldn't be recommended. I just wanted to showcase some really cool ones. And as I said, everybody needs to do their own research, or let me get in touch with me so we can find out the best solution for your specific use case. As Ignacy said, in the Notion page, you also have like these 15 categories that can help you sort things. But today we're gonna touch only on 6 of them. And there's not going to be a comprehensive within them because it's so much. So to get started, I'm going to focus on design creation. This is something that I see happening a lot in our space, especially within architecture studios. So what we realize that we can do with a lot of these tools is create like images and renders and so on. So I identified 6 tools here that I really think are cool and that I really want to show with or want to show you guys. So here they are. I'm just going to open again. I'm not licensed. I'm not kind of connected to these apps in any sort of way, and I'm not a licensed kind of person to talk about any specifics. But I just want to give you like a short intro so you can do your own research afterwards. So Adobe Firefly, I think it's a really good tool because it integrates into Adobe, of course, and you can change images. You can kind of select areas. You can improve your existing images already and create some new things. And I know this is being used very far and wide. Then for those of you using ArchiCAD, there is a tool called ArchiCAD AI Visualizer. I hope it's going to open. Yes, it's opening here. Which is basically, as you can see here, you take your ArchiCAD model and you can visualize on top of it. You can visualize facades, nature, like settings, and so on. So this is also very cool. Third thing, I'm sorry. I went through this. Yeah, Corbu. Many people might not be aware of Corbu, but I believe it's a very powerful tool because, like, what I do see after talking and hearing many architects, people are like, okay, I like AI, but I want like don't take away my creativity. And Corbu is actually addressing this issue. It's a very limited website for what they have to offer, but they're a tool that can really integrate within your designs and then work with your existing Rhino models and things like this. So this is very cool.
But what Corbu is doing,
I guess.
actually?
Sure.
But what Corbu is doing actually? What's the main?
Yeah, maybe I should have been clear. Corbu is also an image generator. So it's going to take your design and you can kind of write to AI what kind of setting you want, minimalistic, I don't know, rustic, whatever it is, and it's going to work with your existing model. So it has a lot of kind of your own input with the help of AI. So that's why I believe it's very cool.
Gotcha.
The third thing here, Veras, again. Yes, thank you, Ignacy. And of course, feel free to interrupt me. I might I know it's all clear in my head. I just want to.
There are a bunch
find
of
the best way
questions.
to get it.
Stepan, we have lags, but also there are a bunch of questions out there. I'm trying not to interrupt you, but for example, Yazan is asking, as an infrastructure BIM specialist, are there any AI tools to make my work more efficient? For example, we are going to see any examples in your presentation, but those, for example, from my side,
one example of infrastructure.
Okay, cool. So please continue.
Yes, and I think that maybe the best thing would be if I just present until the end, and then we can take questions because I can stick around and answer as many of them as possible. Yes,
sure.
But I guess people are aware that we are so many, we're thousands here. So I guess it's hard to prioritize everybody at this point. But yes, just to continue. So with Evolve Lab, for those of you who don't know, I really like what the guys are doing there, what the company is doing. They're working with they're one of these integrator tools that can integrate with your Revit. Veras is a very cool one. It's so easy to put in your Revit and just and even I think they're working with SketchUp now. So you can kind of just generate all of these cool designs immediately. So it's very fast. Yes, Lux is a tool that actually took off within the architecture world, even though they have I will also say here you need to be aware of their terms of use. I did hear some kind of potential, I wouldn't say issues, but potential situations there. So just please look into it, and for any of these tools actually. But what they are doing, they're actually one of these super cool integrated tools that work with your existing designs. So within Rhino and within SketchUp, they can integrate and you can create some really cool stuff, as you can see here. So yes, looks. And then Genie is not an image generator. It's actually a 3D model generator where you, for those of you who don't know, Luma Labs, it's a very powerful AI company, and I really encourage everybody to go check it out. Yeah, the website is a bit slow here, but you can actually, like you see, you put some kind of a name, and then it creates a 3D model out of it. Due to time, I don't have time to kind of play around with it now, but I do hope that people can test it on their own.
But for
Yes. So
example,
this was for design creation.
the use case of such model, which is AI generated, is it like detailed? Can I, for example, create a, let's say, Revit family? I will just write an doors or windows, and it will create for me such objects. How it's actually, how can we as a BIM specialist, AEC specialist, use it? It's
I missed the T here. But like, which you, yeah, I missed the T. But what I want to say, okay, now I need to sign in. What I
Okay,
wanted to show is
we will
that
leave
these
it
models,
for.
the 3D models,
Mhm.
yes, I hope people can understand. We're doing our best. I do have like good connection, but it's like it might be the streaming at the same time. What I
Mhm.
wanted to answer your question as a BIM coordinator, what you can use it for is it's still early, but you can also with Luma Labs other apps. You can create, like, you can film an object that you have around with like around in your world. You can kind of record it and put it into a 3D model, and then you have it like an OOBJ file. You have like these different file formats, USD as well, that you can input into your Blender, into your kind of tools that you're working with. So that's why I think it's
Gotcha.
powerful. And to answer the question of creating Revit families, I don't think it's there yet, but it is a good potential case
Mhm.
at some point in time. But to have a
Sure.
detailed one, no, not yet, definitely.
Not yet. Okay.
Yes. I want to mention one thing for those of you who are going to dive deeper into this design creation. I think that there's a lot of like a lot of apps that are just having different names, but they're doing the same thing. Uh, which is not to say that they're using the same stuff, but there are a lot of them that are using the same engine in the background, which in many cases is Stable Diffusion. Stable Diffusion is an open source AI engine that can generate images through prompts, as we've seen, and it can easily be integrated into different softwares. And as I said, it's both good and bad, because good, okay, it can really be like it's open source, people can integrate it with their existing tools. But it's also bad because for us users who might not be super aware of this and experts in this, it might be hard to choose. So this is why I think it's good or bad. So just beware, like, what are you seeing, and is there like what engine is in the background? That's what I want to say. To move on a bit more in the BIM world, design development. And this is something like this whole category in the Notion page, in the Notion hub, is based around generative design mainly. But I want to clarify that, because I see it really interchanged a lot. Generative design is not the same as generative AI. Generative design is basically an option where you put a lot of parameters, number of floors, number of rooms, and you get designed your spaces, your buildings, your rooms, whatever it might be. And generative AI works in a similar way, but it's not completely the same. In the broad sense of the word, we take it when we generate stuff with AI, meaning that we put a text prompt, we put an image, we put a video, and it creates something out of it. So this is generative AI. Yes. Now, it was very hard, and it was very hard to choose like the tool I would showcase here for these kind of site analysis and so on. We have many. We have architectures. We have city plane. We have digital blue foam. Like I'm just naming some of them. There's so many, and I do encourage everybody to go check it out. There's OMART or OMIRT, or how do you pronounce it? There's like these site analysis tools that can help you. But I do believe that many of you might be aware of Forma, of course. Autodesk Forma. It's formerly known as Spacemaker. It's going to take me to their website now. But it is like their Autodesk's new software that I think it's very cool, because it is included in your AC collection license if you're already having Revit, as you can see here in AC collection. And what you can do with it, you can kind of get a lot of data. You can do wind analysis, sun analysis around your buildings, generate layouts, and so on very quickly. So that's actually super cool. And one thing I wanted to show is TestFit. TestFit also very easily accessible through Forma. And why I like TestFit is because they're one of these tools that are actually getting in the Forma ecosystem. For those of you who might not be aware, I believe that Autodesk has taken this approach of being an ecosystem. So kind of getting apps to connect to Forma and to improve Forma, such as we have with Revit. We have a lot of these apps connecting to it. So TestFit is one of them. And what you can do there, again, you can maximize your sites, but it's very good for parking, I would say, or mainly that's its focus. Stretch it and see what the best parking would be.
Yeah, like the feasibility of the area around the project.
Yes, exactly. And just tell me if I'm going to be if I'm going on for too long. I have
we have Stepan a lot of questions, but most of the questions are like asking, how can I use AI for MEP engineers? How can I use AI for civil engineers? So maybe we'll leave it at the end of the session. Okay.
Yes, we're leaving it for the end, and because people have their own question, and they you are more than welcome to come with it. But this was like my plan was to make an overall presentation, and I will be mentioning some of these things. Don't worry, I'm gonna get there.
Good.
So Schema is one tool that I wanted to mention because it's unique on the market as far as what I know. And what it does is basically it can generate Revit and BIM models out of your existing project. So they have like an AI that connects to your existing projects. Again, it's very slow loading. I apologize for this, but I would definitely check it out because it can connect with your data, connect with your project that you did, and use that knowledge to create new BIM models. Okay, it's very, very exciting. Now, for the person, and hi to you there, asking about infrastructure, we have a tool here that I wanted to showcase. There's not much or so wide within infrastructure, but there is some. And one of these is InfraSpace. And as you can see here, it's generative design for infrastructure projects. It can help you kind of create all these possible designs within railways, roads, and transmission lines. So if this is something that people work with, definitely check them out. Yes. And last but not least, Hypar. I know many of us on especially who saw it on LinkedIn saw the power of this, but it's a text to BIM app, and yeah, I hope it's gonna show quicker than it. Yes, even if it doesn't show, I have like a screenshot of it.
You know, I think that opening those websites will take.
Yes. So you can see here that you can
opening those websites takes a little bit of our internet capacity here, so it might be a bit difficult to run all of the apps at the same time and streaming.
Okay.
But
no
please
problem.
continue.
I can then focus on the presentation. Talk about the apps. Tell me. Sorry.
Yeah, please continue. Let's talk about the apps and find out what are the benefits of using them. Afterwards, we can maybe test, see some use examples.
Okay. Yes. Perfect. So to continue, then I'm not going to open the websites, and I apologize in advance to companies that are here on the list. But do check them out. I didn't choose them out of thin air. I do believe that they're very powerful within what they do. So one of the people asked about MEP, and this is for MEP engineers and MEP BIM coordinators. Augmenta. They are currently mainly for electrical, but I know they're developing stuff for other building services and so on. And the way they work is they take your existing BIM model and create MEP ways out of that. So very cool, very fast.
MEP engineers who are asking on the chat about which AI tool should they use, Augmenta is something that they need to check. That's for sure. Augmenta.ai.
Yes. Now, this tool here, I'm very excited about BIMify, actually. I think it's one of the tools that has like a lot of power. Like what it does, it takes your existing DWGs, your existing PDFs. It works with them a bit, of course, kind of to clean it, to have a nice layout, and it creates BIM models out of it. So this can save countless hours in modeling time. And I had a demo. I know the kind of, you can say, the owners, the people who made it, and you can say that like it's not it's gonna create a whole BIM model and everything's super detailed LOD 500. It's not there yet, but it's a very good start. It can create walls, windows, doors, and such things. And it's a very good
don't
start.
need Revit or ArchiCAD or Tekla.
With this, you can actually kind of, I wouldn't say avoid it. You do need, like, you do kind of need it. You can work with it, but it's just if you have an existing building, or even like you have DVGs and you want to create a BIM model out of it, this is a very, very good start. It's going to save you many, many hours.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
Yeah. Yes. Next tab on the list, Swap. Many of you might also know Swap is a construction documentation generator. So it takes a design, usually a building, and it creates construction documentation, all annotated, all code checked within minutes, and not like days or even months. It's still, I would say, early. I mean, it does have like very good use cases, and it can do many things. But it's very powerful now, but it's going to become even more powerful in the future. Now, these two tools, BIM Logic and Glyph, I'm going to mention at the same time, because this is something that I guess most people could really benefit from. So any Revit users out there, do take a look at these two apps. Again, Evolve Lab, I mentioned it earlier. Glyph is your ChatGPT for Revit, where you can automate views, you can automate view creations, annotation, and such things with this tool. So it can really help you with your productivity. And BIM Logic works in a similar way, where it can help you with your automation. They have an AI assistant within your Revit and such things. So these two tools are very powerful for Revit.
So Glyph, for example, I saw a cool GIF lately that somebody was writing, please annotate or please dimension this drawing for me. And actually it created dimensions for the drawing in just a couple of seconds. So it was really, really helpful. And I see a huge potential in this tool.
Yes. I like what I want to say here. Like when we were on that note, I think that this is like people don't need to be afraid of these apps. The thing is that the construction industry, I've read many research that says we're going to be one of the least impacted industries by AI, but the biggest impact of AI within our industry is going to be in productivity.
Okay.
So we're going to have increased productivity. And last but not least on this list, for design specification, Konic. Belgian-based kind of software company, and they're working with IFCs mainly. They can handle big IFCs in the cloud, and the best thing about it, you can change those IFCs. You can kind of edit them and have them as your BIM model. Kind of you can change and play around with it. So that's actually really, really powerful and really cool. Now, there's also BIM coordinators in construction, so I'm going to get to them with this here. These two first apps are basically scan to BIM, where you take your scan of an existing, of your running site, whatever it might be, and you can turn it into a BIM model. So if you have that use case, do take a look at these apps.
Yeah, there are some questions about actually scan to BIM, so you are into the point.
Yes. Don't worry, guys. I'm gonna get to every single one of you. Don't worry. Like
there are like tons of questions out there, but
and I love it. Yes, I love it, and you're more than welcome to ask. I'm used to this. That ever since I started my company, I got hundreds and hundreds of messages. I answered all of them. So please message me if you need any help. And third thing on this list, let's get more specific, is Nakara. It's actually super interesting because not many people know about it, and people when they see it might be what does this do? But it's basically a tool that takes your AI generated image, your 2D generated image, and it 3D prints what you have in that image. So instead of just creating your image, I don't know, you create something with Midjourney or Stable Diffusion or DALL-E or something, you can also 3D print it. You can create a model out of it.
Okay.
And Nakara does that. So that's really cool for kind of early testing, for testing stuff to,
for architecture mostly, I think.
Exactly. Yes. I put it in construction because maybe they want to test some solutions, see how it works. Some, so
sure.
And then Immerso, Immerso, I don't know how you pronounce it.
Very cool. It's Norwegian
yes,
company.
Yes. Oslo based. You're correct.
Yep.
So these guys, what they're doing, they can track the development of your construction site compared to your BIM model. So
They
they
are
can
comparing
see
the model, the scan with the as-built model. Yes, that's exactly what they do.
exactly.
I tested it, and then it works really great on one of the hospital projects in Tonsberg.
Okay. Okay. Nice. Amazing. Yes. Now Disperse, there's also a lot of the tools that actually work for construction in a similar way to Disperse. You have BuildDot, you have Nazca AI, and Disperse is one of them. And it's basically AI intelligence. So they can also scan your site, and you can make, because on construction we do have issues sometimes with, like, we need to make the best decisions very quickly. We need to plan who is coming when and what. And Disperse and these apps use AI to help you make those decisions in a better way. You can track your progress, you can see who's where, and so on. And again, the last thing on this list for construction is Sparkle. Sparkle is a very cool app, mainly for contractors. But it's a way to chat with your model. So once you have your IFC in place, let's say it's an IFC. Once you have your IFC in place and you want to take quantities of first, like, of different levels of stuff, you can put it into Sparkle. You can also validate your data, but you can kind of chat with it and ask, how many windows are there? How many of this I have on this floor? And so on. So it's very cool, very powerful.
So mainly this is a quantity information takeoff app.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
Got it.
Yes. And then moving on to the last part of these 6 apps kind of bunch are platforms and assistants. These are also categories that are very wide. I think we have most assistants in the hub, but I did find 6 of them, and not necessarily all of them are AI driven, but they can enable some AI workflows. So for those who want to automate stuff, who want to kind of exchange data, I think that Speckle is not getting the kind of the spotlight it deserves in our industry, because I do believe it's a very powerful app. It can work with your different designs, exchange data, and it's a very, very powerful tool. So definitely check it out. Number 2, Document Crunch is an app that is made specifically for construction industry. And the way it works is that it AI kind of checks your documents, your contracts, and it crunches it in a way, kind of, so it gives you only the potential issues or potential problems or something you might want to look at and such things. Because instead of looking at all these hundreds and hundreds of pages of BIM documentation, of construction documentation in general, you can just put it in Document Crunch to save yourself the time there. Yes, third thing for BIM specifically is Plannerly. I don't know I guess many of the people who are online might have used it, but they did enable AI generation in recent kind of months, you can say. So they're basically a one-stop shop for all BIM documentation out there for all the BIM standards. And I would really recommend looking at the site to easier create your BEPs, all of your BIM contracts, and so on. So this is the site you want to go to.
Now, yes, I have experience with Plannerly and their AI generated document engine. So I created a couple of contractual documents using Plannerly, and I think they're really doing a great job with it. So just a supplement here.
Nice. And then to move on, I see that the time is running out, like slowly but surely. Power BIM is a very good platform for kind of to integrate your BIM models and your BIM data to kind of have an analysis, to kind of see this data nicely. So it's a very good platform. Upcodes, it's something that I see happening in more places than one around the world. I just chose Upcodes as one of the kind of unicorns in this space. I do believe they're based in the States, but what they do, they take your drawings, so your construction documentation, they take your drawings, building drawings, and they can check if it's up to code. So they have an AI engine scanning your drawings and seeing, okay, this corridor is this wide, or it's not too wide, or whatever it might be. So this is very cool. And one thing that I think everybody can really benefit from is Microsoft Copilot. I also believe that there's many companies already who have it integrated, because this is a tool that integrates with your Excel, with your Word, with your PowerPoint, and really helps you with productivity. I'm not going to go more into it right now because of time, but it's a really powerful tool. I really recommend it to everybody. Yes. So these were 24 tools out of 750. Okay. And this is around 3% of the AEC I have. Okay, so there's so much more. There's so much, and I apologize if I haven't gotten to more of this. But I also have some notes about implementation I want to get to. And I know it's overwhelming, but I have something for people who want to learn more immediately. And these are the cheat sheets. So for those of you who don't know, I created these cheat sheets last year, where I did my best to explain how these AI things work, what they can use, and which key tools should you be aware of. I have 3 cheat sheets, where the second one is, for example, focused on design creation. So this image generation mainly, but also 3D and video generation and stuff like this, renders. So do check them out. I will give you a QR in a second. And this last one I'm really proud of, because it really kind of showcases what you can use in different phases of your building. And I would really like take a look at these. So for anybody who wants these cheat sheets, it's the same QR that we had before. So if you haven't gotten to it, you can scan it now. Again, it's going to take you to my website, AI and AC. You're going to see that I'm working on a course. It's going to sign you up to my email list to be fully transparent. And you can always unsubscribe. I really don't unsubscribe because I really don't spam, but I don't know that some just want this and don't want to hear me talk anymore. So yes. And now just like a few last notes about implementation. I wanted to talk about the speed of implementation, speed in which AI products can be built. And this is a story that I personally experienced. You can see me there on the photo. Last year in March on the AEC hackathon here in Copenhagen, where my group and we developed a tool which basically took Evolve Labs Veras tool into Revit. We generated a bunch of facades. Then through computer vision, we could see what is a window, what is a door, how much of which surface there is. And we could, through Grasshopper, then see what the impact on indoor climate this is going to be. And the best thing, like this is a very powerful tool, so you can kind of generate a bunch of facades and see how they impact your indoor space, your heating, your cooling, your sunlight, and so on. And the best thing about this whole story is that it took us maybe a day and a half to build it. So it's
really, it's really nothing actually. So yeah. It's amazing.
Yes, and we also used Speckle, and really that's why I tell people are sleeping on Speckle. And people are, I think that this group of guys, I was mainly there to present also and kind of to connect dots. But the group of guys did the majority of the work with development and so on. But it's amazing how fast it can go.
But do you share some kind of workflows also on the AI Hub? For example, this one that you mentioned here.
Yes. I have a category called AEC Hackathon. So people can go to the Notion Hub and check this category, and you're going to see some of the tools that we had there. And I'm also going in 10 days. We have, or in 8 days, we have another hackathon. Also in Copenhagen, I'll be there. So you can meet me there for those of you who are going to join.
Cool.
Yes. One also quick thing. So this took us a day and a half to build, right? This hackathon thing. And this maybe took me, let's say, 2.5 hours to build. The custom GPT, which can help you, instead of you scrolling through the Notion page, you can just ask what the tool is. It's not perfect yet. I know it's not perfect, but it's a really good way to kind of sort through things and kind of get to it. So I just wanted to talk about the speed. And if you don't believe me, that maybe you're going to believe Sam Altman, who said that there will soon be $1 billion companies. Just because of the speed and the power a single person can do with AI. And once he said that, I immediately thought, I hope it's going to be my company. But
fingers crossed, Stefan. Yes, remember about me.
Let's hope. Let's see. Now, I have a few notes about implementation, and this is that I don't want people, when they start implementing, it doesn't necessarily need to be AI. It can be some really good automation. It can be really some new age app that you found that it's going to help you, because we also always need to remember our overarching goals. And those are the sustainability ones. Those are the buildings ones, what I mentioned in the start. And if you need help, there are 2 companies that can really help you. One is called Anker, as you can see here, Anker. They are also Oslo-based, and they basically produce and validate your Revit and IFC data. So they can connect your data when you're too busy producing drawings and so on. They can help you with their tool to validate it. And Reop is a tool that can help you with custom software development. I'm pushing these out to people who want to kind of go a step deeper, or maybe are too busy with deadlines. I know that they're the best within what they do. And I also like to full disclosure, I like my company and them did partner up. So if you're going to go to them, it's not making it any more expensive for people to work with them. It's just a nice partnership. So if you go to them, just say, I heard about you from Stepan, they're going to like that for sure. And then last thing, because I do know that people are like, okay, if you shared all of this for free and this is for free, how do you earn money? How do you, how can you help people? This was actually a question I got most on my last workshop. And this is what I say. So I can help you if you're like a, I don't know, a representative of any company, university, whatever it might be, you need help. I can help with presentations and workshops. I'm also organizing a BIM Tech network starting next week with top Norwegian companies. So if you're interested into a monthly session of this kind of way, you can join in. It's limited seating though, so be quick. Third thing is 3-hour AI transformation. So if you want to go specific on your problem, you can just call me. We can schedule a call, a 3-hour package where we can discuss and make a strategy. And then also partnerships. If you have a tool and you would like to partner with me, just tell me. And I'm only partnering with the best, because my main agenda is to be independent in my thought and independent in this. And I'm giving my best advice to all of you across the screen. And yes, with that, I want to finalize my presentation by just giving you some ideas that you can use in your own workflows. And these are company chatbots. I see this happening more and more, where people are making their own database within the company. I say internal and external, so it can be kind of your knowledge hub, where you can transmit the knowledge from maybe the more experienced people to less experienced people, but also externally as like chatbots on your websites. Second thing, model production. We saw many of these apps, so like you can speed up the model production very quickly. And the last thing are numbering and naming of our drawings and standards and so on. You can use custom GPTs. I did plan on showing a short demo, but I think we have the time now of how you can use ChatGPT for that. But we're gonna get to that in next time.
Stepan, I have just one question, because this question often came to the chat. Often people are asking about the security of our data and using AI and how our data is secured. For example, I don't know, using some kind of add-ons for Revit models, which are company property, actually.
Yes.
So how we can, I don't know, measure how we know that our data is secure?
Yes, it's a very good question. I would believe that I will answer it in this way. I've checked more than 750 or kind of added. I've checked thousands of tools. It's impossible for me to answer that this rule applies to everybody. So it depends on the tool. It depends on the company.
Okay.
What I will say is, as long as you have it hosted within your own organization, it should be safe. So what I plan to say is that you need to check which model you're using, how much you trust it. Is it going to use this data for training purposes later on? And for example, if you're going to work with ChatGPT, for example, I love working with ChatGPT, but I always make sure that all my data is not like, they're not personal information, meaning that it's not like addresses of people or such things. I can give it data that can, like, of course, it depends. If you specify, it can help you with kind of to use it for training later or not. But you need to be aware of what you're giving to AI. So this is my answer. And for like privacy and security, you need to check with the companies you're working with. So
sure. Because, for example, when I was involved in hospital design, there are several rooms which are top secret because of the different systems that they are using and different people who are going to use these rooms, especially army people, and those type of data can be shared, I think, via AI tools right now.
Yes, you're correct. You also have a difference, like in my implementation workshops. I do some workshops where we talk more about the implementation, about strategy, about what companies can do. I had one a couple of weeks ago in Oslo, and there we talked about these different AI types on how much you want to integrate. Of course, the cheapest option is also the least secure option, in a way where you can kind of put it to ChatGPT and it can generate something for you. And the more expensive it gets, especially as you said, military hospitals where you're working with crucial and kind of you need to keep this data safe, then you're going to need to have your own servers, your own AI kind of builds in your in-house. So yeah.
Got it.
Now,
Thanks.
Ignacy, just let me, before we jump into questions, I just want to kind of finish with this gift. And this is the last thing, I promise, for now. So this is a gift I prepared because I see that so many people are using ChatGPT for text generation only, and it can do so much more. About some practical stuff it can do, I tried to put it here. And it's not only ChatGPT. It actually doesn't matter which large language model you're using. It matters. But the thing is, I wouldn't be too stuck about the idea, it's ChatGPT, is it Llama, or GPT-4, whatever it might be. Just choose something, work with it, and try to focus on your result. Focus on what you want to get out of it. So you can see here, I did do it for BIM coordinators, 5 different areas, planning and documentation, what it can help you with, kind of more specifically, which tasks, design and coordination. Somebody also mentioned they use it to create code for Python and Dynamo, and general assistance training and support and data management. I'm not going to go more into this. If people want to learn more, they can always kind of, as I said, sign up for this upcoming course that I have. But also follow on LinkedIn. I'll keep posting different kind of insights and so on. But if people want to go really in depth and level up, they can join the wait list. I still don't have. I'm still producing. I'm building the course. So this is all if you want to become more knowledgeable, more future ready, more employable, and more productive. And of course, if you want to become an AI superhero. So this is just join the list. It doesn't the list is for free to be on. And I'll be launching soon. And all the questions about the course called Mastering AI in AC, I'll be answering in these emails, the weekly emails. So what am I going to teach? How much is it going to cost? When is it going to be out? All of these questions I'm going to answer to the email list. So just sign up there. Yes, and this was me. So thank you so much.
Thanks so much. Thank you so much, Stepan, for this interesting presentation. Lovely. I love all the insights that you showed us, all the materials that you presented. Apologize for any technical issues related to internet connection. Sometimes it happens, but thanks so much. So we are approaching the Q&A session. Before it, as I mentioned, as Stepan mentioned, we are going to I'm going to send the gift that Stepan created for us, this mind map with the large language model use cases for BIM coordinators. Really interesting stuff. So let's jump in. Before that, just a few information about if you are going to you are interested in BIM coordination, those type of things, I'm releasing the course next month in March. So you can check the information, all the informations about the 3rd edition, becomeBIMcoordinator.com. Also, we have some lessons about AI as well down there. I have the session with Clive Jordan from Plannerly. I'm showing how he's showing how to generate constructual documentation using his platform Plannerly. So feel free to look at the agenda, look at the details about the course, becomeBIMcoordinator.com. So right now, let's move on to the final part of our presentation today, to Q&A session. There are a bunch of the questions out there. So let me first go to our list. There are questions like how. Let's check. How do I use an AI on construction site?
Yeah, I did mention it a bit earlier. It's a wide question, Abdu. You would need to specify what exactly your result is. What is your kind of what you want to get out of it? Because construction sites are complicated. If you want to get some analysis, if you want to use it on cranes, there's AI that can also work. Do you want to use a robot? There's so much that I can answer this with. So you would need to specify that a bit more. But I did mention them, and if you just look at the construction, as I said, category on the Notion page, you're gonna be able to kind of probably figure out the best tool for your use case.
Okay, thanks. We have a Chris from Learn Grasshopper. Great presentation, Stepan. One question: how many of these tools bases really on AI, not on coded algorithms?
Amazing question, Chris. Thank you so much, and thank you for all of your contribution. I probably wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for you and Ignacy and so on. So thank you.
Sure.
But yes, but how many of these tools are based on AI and not code? That's a really good question. And yes, I do see some companies. I wouldn't say the majority, but some companies are kind of pushing that they're AI based and they have like just a small AI thing. So it also depends what they're doing. I mean, if you take an example of Planner, which I love, Plannerly, right? But for example, they're using AI not to kind of as a helpful assistant within their main product, which is the whole platform access. So to answer your question, it also depends. And out of these 750 on the list, I would say probably like I guess 75% are AI driven. So machine learning, deep learning, depends what they do. But there's also quite a few that are not AI driven, but they're still very, very powerful or can help you unlock AI.
Mm-hmm. Thanks.
I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. What about safety when connecting the data or models with those AI tools? So I think that you already mentioned it during the presentation. So it depends on what kind of data you are going to share through AI. You need to be careful with it. Uh, of course, we also don't know where all the data, all the AI engines are stored on the servers, in which country. So this is also something that should be taken into consideration when we are actually using these tools, isn't it?
Mm. Yes. Yes, and like I also might understand. I mean, I understand that the question about safety is connected to the data safety. I do understand that. I do also know of big companies. I can't mention which. I have some NDA signed, but there are some big companies making data centers in different countries just for this, just to host the data locally. So
Okay.
it all depends on the provider. It depends on what you're using. I do like want to say maybe an opinion that might not everybody like is gonna fully agree with, but like we have been using Facebook and so, like I'm just taking it as an example for years, even though we know it's that kind of tracking our data and giving us advertisements based on that, and it gave us an option either to pay for Facebook, and most of us decided not to pay anyway. So I
Yeah.
think that this question is mainly relevant like if you have really really sensitive data. But for
Mm.
those of us who are like, okay, because I told you, like, I built my whole brand and business on sharing selflessly, and I hope that people understand this from also this webinar. To share selflessly, I'm not afraid of anybody coming for my data because, again, I know that we have more pressing issues at hand, and not undermining these issues that are there for some people.
Sure, but people like companies have their restrictions
Yeah,
about the sharing the data. So this is the
I know.
concern that people are asking about. Okay, so
Yes.
what about floor plan designing? Jens is asking.
Jens, I love your profile photo.
Yeah.
Yes. Um, this is a really good tool. Or a really good question. There's many tools for this. You have Make It, you have Finch, you have Layout with an I. They all do kind of similar stuff, but in different ways. So it also all depends on what you want to get out of it. You can just put floor plan as a search item in the Notion Hub. It can come, or you can contact me. I can give you some really good insights later on. So
Okay, there is a question about AI tools for facility management. We didn't touch this topic today.
no, we didn't touch this topic. Th- there are AI tools for analysis. There are AI tools for digital twins for these kind of platforms. Facility management, it also depends what you want to do with these assets once you have them digitally.
Mhm.
So like just to say AI for facility management, like it's hard
What
for me to
what it
answer.
will do? What it will actually
Yeah,
do?
exactly, because I think that we need to focus on the result.
Mhm.
But I also want to say that what we can use, all of us can use, are these general AI tools, meaning like ChatGPT, like Midjourney, all of these tools that are very global and can be very used for many things. So
And the question from Fadi, and I'm really also to it. How I can use the tool for model quality assurance in BIM Collab, Solibri, or any other model quality checking tool like Navisworks,
yeah,
BIM Truck, those type of things.
A very good question. Thank you so much. So I want to say this: AI is very good at recognizing stuff. So computer
Mm,
vision, right? It can
mhm,
recognize stuff. It can recognize probably even clashes. But I haven't seen something as like monumental as, for example, Solibri or these tools are as we have them right now, that are
mhm,
gonna clash automatically for you, check it all for you, report issues, and fix it all. There are some tools that are looking into this, that are
mhm.
trying to identify clashes, even swap with their kind of construction generation. They really want to, like, create all these details and issues, but I haven't seen something so big. But
Okay.
because of the first thing I said, that AI is really good at computer vision, I wouldn't expect that it's going to take them years to come there. Meaning that these tools have a really good potential of having some AI driven stuff within their products.
Got it. uh the questions are like flowing, we will have to, like, we will need to have like 2 or 3 hours to answer all of them, but I'm
Amazing.
trying to pick up the most, not valuable, but I think that those that we are not repeated. So being pure, Nicholas, test fit are more algorithm based than AI based, right?
I would believe so.
I
Yes.
Mhm. Okay. Thomas, what do you recommend to develop your own tools? Probably with something like Python.
Yes. To answer this, I will say I also have them on the list, but there's so much tools, like I forgot the name, but I know uai.com. I think it's like this, or u.com, or
Hmm.
u.ai. I think it's uai.com. They're one of these like AI builders, so they can really build AIs for you, integrate with your company. But if you want to do it yourself, it is possible. Um, like, I don't know the specifics platform you can use to get started with,
Hmm.
but I would mainly look at, of course, open source AIs like Stable Diffusion that we mentioned, that you can kind of integrate with what you want to do.
Okay.
So it also always depends, like, again, what is your preferred result, and I would need to
Yeah, like the
know
end
more.
goal.
Yeah, the end goal, yeah, is to know more. But yes, it is possible, and I see more and more happening. I would just say one thing, that when it comes to implementation at companies, we need to be aware that there's either top down or bottom up approach, or a mixed approach, you can say. So if you're always going to develop something on your own, like, it depends what you're doing it for, but I would say that, like, try to do something that more people are going to use, and not only that you know something. Because if you want to
Mhm.
make a lasting change within your company, it needs to be very useful and very kind of easy to access for other people. So
That's for sure. That's for sure. We have the question from Bonis. Is there a AI to create dashboard reports for open, closed issues, clashes, instead of using Power BI? Actually, any other type of data visualization that we could use. So we just write, okay, here is the data. Please create for me a dashboard which will visualize the data in such a form.
yes, amazing. Yes, good question. There are some tools that are being like these platform hosts to kind of give you analysis, give you these dashboards without using Power BI. But
Hmm.
something as simple, unfortunately, we didn't have time. I can make a video later on and put it on LinkedIn. Uh, but about, like, using, like, I had an example where I have my Excel file, which is not finalized, but it's some room names and with areas, and I'm asking ChatGPT to understand this, to fill in the rest of the data, and to visualize it. And it can give you some basic visualizations. It all depends on the level you want to go to. Of
Yeah, yeah,
course, you
yeah.
can specify it, but it can visualize this data for you. So something as simple as ChatGPT, simple,
Okay.
relatively simple to access, can really help you. Maybe.
Okay. Okay. So actually, you can use ChatGDP to create. Yeah. I remember that you showed me the use case using the floors and the data from the floors, I think. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Please
Exactly.
create a video. Please post it on LinkedIn
Okay,
so you
I
will
will.
get a lot of likes.
Yeah.
AI useful for civil 3D, like creating landscape topography.
Mm. Yes. If you want to create landscape and topography, you have even NVIDIA's, what is it called? I forgot the name, but NVIDIA's AI tool that can help you specifically for this, for landscapes.
Mhm.
And then you can also, like, you can always put an image and kind of export it to one of these AI tools to help you generate landscapes and topography on top of that image. So that can also work for you. So
we have also a question related to programming and AI, which is in a current state better for us to use in AEC? It's like to do. It's like this is a tricky question, but I can answer that.
yes,
We should use both because with programming we will do certain type of tasks, and with the AI we can easify. For example, if I'm coding something in PyRevit, then I can write in ChatGPT, please create for me a Python script that then I will copy to PyRevit. So we should actually combine both those tools, like both those technologies, let's say, concepts.
yes, I will answer it also in this way, Ignacio. I really wanna pinpoint this opinion, and this is that again, it depends what you want to do, of course, for this specifically. But one thing I want people to really understand: um, there are a few, you can say, even big creators, like maybe the two of us in this space. You have Chris from Learn Grasshopper. You have Eric Fritz from Revit API. You have Antonio from that open company. You have Nicolas from BIM Pure. And I don't believe that any of us are competing against one another. I really mean this, because
Of course.
we have such bigger issues in our industry, guys. I mean, I said in the beginning that we do need everything. So which course should I take? What should I focus on first? It all depends what you want to do, what is needed in your circuit, within your industry, closely to you, how you can improve your own environment first, and then look globally. That's what I would say.
Okay, thanks. And of course, we are not competing, guys. We are doing everything for our AEC community just to
Yeah.
make people aware of how technology can be used in today's construction.
Yeah.
Ospot, how Stepan see the whole workflow of development of the architectural projects from zero till construction using AI tools in the future? Oh my God, this is quite complex question. Apologize, Stepan.
No, not at all. I love this. I love the questions like
Cool.
these. Ostap, thank you. From zero till construction. Oh man. So construction is a very complex industry. You have either like, and then you have companies specifying maybe only for design part, maybe only for construction part, maybe only for construction documentation. Like, have so many companies focusing on different stuff. So it's hard for me to answer. Oh, okay, just go to this app, and it's going to be a master builder. It's going to be everything for you. In the future, as I said, I do believe that we're going to need fewer architects for the same amount of work, but this doesn't mean that the work is not going to increase. We need to figure out a way to build more sustainably. I'm unfortunately not a sustainability expert. I do know many things about it, but I'm not an expert in it. So we do need experts within this field, how to make our materials more sustainable, our buildings, our environments. But then regarding technology and regarding like the time it takes to produce stuff, like you can also, like, sometimes you have countries still that you don't even use BIM. You can just produce like construction documentation out of DVGs, and that's it, and then you build a house. So it's a very big question, and I would love to get a beer, or not a beer, a juice, and then we can we can talk more about this.
You can give me a beer, no problem. Most of the tools require license plans to be used in full power. Which tools are free? I think that you have a tick on the AI hub, your AI hub, which filters out the free tool, isn't it?
No, I only have for AI
No, okay,
driven and champions, not for
okay.
free, unfortunately. Like, you can
Mhm.
always like search for free stuff, but this is again such a wide. I do know that. I mean, also, like, you can ask me 750 tools. How many did you test? How many did you look into? And
Yeah.
how much money do you have to pay for all of this? Like,
Exactly,
I
and
like yes,
most probably most of the tools has some kind of a test period where you can test it for free. So if you will test 10 of them and you will find one the most beneficial for you, so just pay for the paid version and use a full potential of it.
exactly.
Let's find out. Firmin, we are early, as you said, in terms of AI, AEC oriented tools. We see images, text, AI generators mainly, but they seems not useful in the heart of our jobs, technically speaking. So what I would say, for example, okay, maybe there is a text AI generator generated generators, but these text AI generators like Glimpse, okay, maybe it's not. We are just typing something and then we produce objects inside our views, inside our Revit model. So I don't think they are not seems to be useful. I think they are super useful. But Stepan, what do you think about it?
Yes, I mean it's also like they don't seem useful in the heart of our jobs. Like this is very like we can start a big discussion because being from or having experience at big, I would say that maybe the heart is actually in the whole narrative and the design and the story behind your building. So yes,
Okay.
but if you of course speak technically, they might not seem useful, but they can maybe help you. Like okay, there might be an issue there, or a kind of a junction that I haven't thought about. How do I solve this? How do I solve that? So it's I would say that it can help us with more than we can imagine. So yeah.
We didn't talk about the structural engineerings.
Okay.
So maybe if you could give us
Yes.
some ideas, which tools can be used by structural engineers?
Yes. There are a few tools there. If you just go, there's not that many, unfortunately. I haven't seen that many yet.
Hmm.
If our album, I would go to my hub. I would check this structural design. I have a structural design specifically category. And then you can
Hmm.
check, I think it's only like 10, 15 tools, it's not more. And then you can see how they work. And the way they work is usually different. They can really like what you have. It's either it's an optimized structural design based on low carbon, based on price, based on like weight and so on. It all depends what you want to do. So there are these things. And also one platform maybe to highlight is Victor. It's a really good platform that structural engineers can use kind of to exchange code, to exchange their, and not to work in old Excel files from I don't know which year. They can use it within Victor and kind of have this platform to collaborate. So
Hmm. Also, one question I was also wondering about was, let's say, 5D, 4D. I know, Nicholas, that you don't like this differentiation, but we are talking about like adding the time and the cost to our models, to our BIM models. Is there any tool that takes this topic and
yes,
leverage
yes, there
AI?
are. Yes, there are a few tools. Now you all need to understand. I'm going to mention a couple of tools. One is Creo, Kreo, and they're
Hmm.
doing like quality takeoffs and so on. I like not something for 4D simulation specifically, like for example Bexel Manager or something like this.
Yeah.
So they're not something out there yet that I haven't seen, but I see many of these platforms that can unlock 4 and 5D if
Mm.
you're interested in that. So Creo is one of them. There's even Twin Master for digital twins and so on. So there's quite a few tools within this space.
Okay, thanks. There is also a question. Do you think that in the future companies will need people like AI specialists that would be able to match the appropriate AI software in order to save time and money? Good question. Thanks.
Definitely, and I think that especially again, like I know that because I put the survey out where I'm asking people questions about what they're kind of how many years of experience they have. But I would say that the younger you are in the industry, the maybe the easier in a way it is for you to really know technology and to push your way through to kind of higher ranks if you're technology based because technology is something that's always been developing. So if you know these tools, you're gonna be more wanted within the higher decision circles, if you can say it like that, within the hierarchy, right? So if you're going to need AI specialists, definitely. And this is what I want to do with my courses as well. I want to make anybody who takes the course to become an AI superhero. I know that my life has completely changed ever since I started delving into this. I mean, I started a company just based on this, like just based on talking about it and knowing things. And people are messaging me, what can I do? Make strategy, implement. How do I do this? How do I do that? And I want to help as many people as possible do this as well. So if you're interested in this, Anus, sign up. It's going to be, as again, I'm going to give you all the insights soon. It's not going to be far before I launch it, but yes.
What do you recommend? No, sorry. There was this question about the Dynamo. Is there any AI which can
Ah,
create the Dynamo scripts for automation?
Yes, there is. There's a Dynamo. I forgot the name. I apologize, but there is. If you just search for Dynamo in the Notion
Okay.
Hub, it can really help you. And of course, I do have experience. I mean, maybe Nicholas from BIM Pure is going to be more specific on this. We need to have you, man, with us. We need to have you on this.
Hey, Nicholas is there. He was just laughing
Yes.
about my comment about LODs and yeah. So he's with us.
Yeah, but I know that you're looking into like all using Revit and so on, like using ChatGPT to help you make code. So yeah, you can also use this. You just need to specify. Okay, I'm working in Revit. I need help with this. I'm working with Python. I need help with this, and so on. So yes.
So actually, what you need to do is the knowledge how to properly prompt ChatGPT to get the result that is useful for your use case, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. It's a way of properly prompting it, getting because like it also like yes, also that. But I would also say one thing: we tend to think of ChatGPT as one language only. There's a few tools that Microsoft has, even GitHub Copilot or Microsoft Copilot or things like this, that are more specific to programmers, more specific to different use cases. So people can also look into these. You know.
Okay. Let's see. Any AI tool that can be used to develop own AI tools for architects that takes a low or no code approach.
Yes, there are many. I mentioned already some of them. Evolve Lab, as I said, it's a plugin basically. It's very low to no code. Again, it also depends on what you want to do, Shahid. It depends, like if you want to try to create images, stable diffusion, or similar sort of programs like Lux, like Corbu, what I mentioned, and things like this. So yes, there are many, and like this is actually it's a good point to mention. I see more and more of this happening. I don't think we're going to have a future where it's going to take you 3 or 4 or 10 years to learn Revit or to know it in the like or ArchiCAD or whatever it is. We're going to see more of these low and no code approaches where people can really tell the tool what to do and it can really help them get there. So and we're going to be the connectors of stuff.
And there is a comment from Nicholas about the ChatGPT and the use for Dynamo. It can be helpful with the Dynamo script and Python, but still need underlying knowledge and the basic understanding of the API of Revit or API, sorry, of not Revit, but ChatGPT, maybe. Okay. Let's, we have 2-3 more to go. We are 1.5 hours. You told me that it will be like 45 minutes. We are over 90 minutes. Andy, my student. Hi, Andy. Hello from Indonesia. Do you think enclosed BIM like Autodesk would embrace these AI tools in the future, or should we always export into BCF or IFC to use the tools? Not sure what you mean by that, but maybe Stepan, if you could answer.
Yeah, I have two answers to this. So first of all, I think that Autodesk is aware of this change. They launched Autodesk AI in November last year, where currently it's very limited within our industry, but it can kind of look at your drawings and see like different revision clouds, and it can warn you of issues and so on. So this is what they have right now. Among other things, they also have like Construction IQ. They have some tools that are helping you, like AI tools helping you make better construction stuff. So they are open to AI tools. Of course, they're a big business. They want to like also earn money for their company,
Sure.
a public company, right? But something about like export it to BCF and IFC. So I have a thought here that might not be like let's me put it like this. I believe that AI is as powerful as we the users know it. So what I experienced in my work as a BIM coordinator, manager, lead, whatever you want to call me, I did many of those things, most of them. I did experience like we had issues with where we know the technology is there, but then we had like our colleagues who might not be aware, they just want to use what they're used to, and it's like this whole change management. So I know that this video and the people watching are full of interested people in tech, but I always say choosing the AI tool is a 1-hour job. Implementing that tool is a 1-year job. So this is my answer to this question.
And we have the last question from Mohammed. From a practical point of view, how far did you implement BIM AI in Big or any other company?
I
Not sure if you
unfortunately
can answer it.
I no, no, no. I apologize. I apologize. I can't answer. I can't speak on behalf of Big
Sure.
officially anymore. I'm not there yet. I get again. I can only speak about my experience there. I know we had or even have some of the most talented people. If there's anybody from Big and Sweco here, hello to you guys. I miss you. But I wanted to say that we had most talented people, or some of the most talented people here. Amazing talent, amazing work ethic. I loved every day going there. So I can't say specifically what we did, unfortunately.
Hmm.
But yeah, was it exciting? It definitely was. So
Okay. With that being said, thank you so much for our session. Thanks so much, Stepan, for being with us. It was a pleasure. It was a huge pill of the knowledge. My head is exploding right now. After that, I need to just jump into your AI hub and just dig into the tools, check how they are working. Maybe in the future we are going to have a second session with Stepan just to find out how some kind of use cases. You will show us some use cases how actually AI can be implemented. We will do 2, 3 use cases. We will see. I'm not sure. We will see. Stepan is a busy guy right now, a businessman. So fingers crossed for the business. Fingers crossed for the course. I hope that everything will. I'm pretty sure that everything will go okay, and everything will work for you. So thanks again, Stepan, for the very nice presentation and for the huge knowledge that you shared with us today.
thank you so much, Ignacy, for the invitation, and thank you everybody for joining. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, we have tons of tons of thanks to from our audience. So I think that the session was very valuable. Thanks so much for attending this class. Remember, if you want to learn more about AI, just dig into AI in AEC.com. This is a Stepan resource. If you are working with BIM, you are a BIM coordinator, BIM strategist, BIM manager, or you are just starting, you can just also check my resource at becomeBIMcoordinator.com or BIMcorner.com to find more. Thank you so much. Thanks, and see you in the next webinar soon. Bye bye.